Neurolinguistic Programming. This is a new and short course titled Neurolinguistic Programming, taken from the book Educational Programs by Muteb Alqarni. In this course, we will learn about the theory of neurolinguistic programming, NLP. We will discuss NLP history, foundations, premises, assumptions, models, and applications in human development. Thus, this course will be both informative and practical. Although NLP has received and continues to receive widespread criticism as a pseudo-science, we present it here without expressing a personal opinion towards it. We are presenting it here for the sake of spreading knowledge and challenging preconceptions about it. Just as some benefit from Ruqya, spiritual healing, although it is not scientifically founded, some will benefit from NLP, even though it is not scientifically founded either. Neurolinguistic programming first appeared in 1975 in the book The Structure of Magic, a book about language and therapy by Richard Bandler and John Grinder. Perhaps because Bandler is a specialist in computational mathematics, we can understand why the term programming is used, as it is related to computing. And perhaps because Grinder is a linguistics professor, we can also understand the second word, linguistic, yielding linguistic programming. The word neuro came from the author's belief that language can be therapy. Consider their book title, A Book About Language and Therapy. Since the language component is in the brain, nervous system, neuro was added. Thus, we have neuro-linguistic programming. In light of the above, it can be said that neuro-linguistic programming has a high ambition, which is treating humans with language. The important question is, what does it treat? The answer: it treats one's incorrect thoughts and beliefs, transforming them into a successful and different individual. Therefore, it is repeatedly stated in the books of NLP that its goal is the study of human success. They study successful people in the world, their thoughts and beliefs about themselves, and then model those successful people to enable others to emulate and mimic them. By mimicking the models of successful individuals, you reprogram your thoughts and beliefs, programming through changing how you speak about yourself, linguistic, and activating your senses and emotions, neuro, thereby becoming successful. Neurolinguistic programming claims that human development and success can be achieved through three principles that form the theoretical framework of NLP. 1. Willpower. 2. Focus. And 3. Flexibility. To be successful, one must first have a genuine will to change and succeed. Then, one must focus and pay attention to what one says about oneself and what one believes about the world in general. Without focus, one will not notice the beliefs that hinder their success. Lastly, flexibility, meaning being adaptable and accepting of failure, not rigid and rejecting it. Every failure should be modified to achieve better results. Ask yourself now, do you have the willpower, focus, and flexibility? These are the prerequisites of NLP. Based on the three principles mentioned above, NLP proposes 10 assumptions that are claimed to form the operational system of this project, summarized here until discussed in detail later. 1. The map is not the territory. 2. The mind and body are one system. 3. What others have succeeded in, you can too. 4. Success is an inherent characteristic in every human. 5. Failure does not happen by chance but is a structured entity. 6. There is no failure, only feedback. 7. Every experience has a structure. 8. Behind every action, there is a positive intention. 9. Communication is inevitable. 10. The power of effective communication lies in the response. These are 10 assumptions from NLP, and we will discuss each in detail in due time. So, it can preliminarily be said that neurolinguistic programming is based on 3 principles or foundations and operates through 10 assumptions or premises. We can now add that NLP proposes through this composition 5 models for creating success. 1. Modeling. Mimic the successful and emulate their actions to become like them. 2. The meta model. There are metaphysical things that affect you without you realizing. 3. Reframing. Model. Every frame has a meaning. Change the frame, and the meaning changes. 4. The Milton model. Hypnotic language affects your subconscious mind. And 5. The timeline model. Imagining yourself in the future accelerates change. These are 5 models, and we will also discuss each model in detail in due time. We will now begin working on changing you within NLP theoretical framework composed of 3 principles, 10 assumptions, and 5 models. Initially, you must know that you will not change unless you have willpower. So ask yourself, what success do you want to achieve? And what do you want to be in 10 years from now? Do you want to be a different, successful, and prominent person? Ask yourself, do you have the determination, will, and sincere desire to be successful? If so, define what you want from now. Identify the goal you want to achieve in 10 years. Try writing that down clearly on paper. When you define your goal, you have surpassed the first task in programming yourself towards success. You are now changing your course towards will, desire, and a new direction in life. After declaring your will, the programming takes you to the modeling phase, which says, mimic the successful in the goal you wish to achieve. Do you want to become a distinguished soccer player? Ask yourself, who is your role model in this to emulate and imitate? Let's say Messi. Do you want to be one of the big businessmen? Who is your role model in this to emulate and imitate? For example, Bill Gates. Neurolinguistic programming aims to study the successful and demands you to study the successful. You need to understand why Messi or Bill Gates became successful. In short, study your role model well and imitate them in detail. How does this role model think? What do they do? How do they take steps? How do they decide? How do they analyze? How do they view failure? Study your role model in detail. When you study and emulate your role model, neurolinguistic programming firmly believes that by your detailed imitation of them, you will reach what they have reached. This is the belief of the modeling model. Whoever imitates someone becomes like them. A child only becomes successful when he adopts the beliefs and thoughts of his successful father, for example. The question: why does neurolinguistic programming adopt this idea? It is based on 2 of the aforementioned 10 assumptions. The first being, everything others have succeeded in, you can succeed in as well. Since your role model succeeded in that, you can too. Plus the assumption that success is an inherent feature in every human. Every human is created for success. That's how God created him. Thus, we understand 2 of the previously mentioned 10 assumptions. When neurolinguistic programming demands you to study your role model in every aspect, how they think, their behaviors and actions, their set of beliefs, decisions, etc., this justifies the second principle in it, which emphasizes the importance of focus. You need to intensely focus on your role model to truly understand what and how they think. You need to strongly focus on Messi's words to understand his thoughts. Pay close attention to how he moves on the field, his passing technique, his dribbling, how he distributes his energy, his daily training routine, etc. Messi himself did this in detail when he was younger. He was passionate about soccer and focused a lot on the movements and dribbles of his role models among the prominent players of his time and imitated them. The question: do you focus on your role model? Effective focusing methods include comparing your thoughts and beliefs with those of your role model. And let's say you want to become a global star like Messi, for example. Have you focused enough on Messi to realize that he thinks and tells himself that arrogance is the graveyard of stars, for instance? That he thinks and tells himself that soccer, not school, is the beginning of wealth, and that it's possible for me to be a champion? Have you focused enough on Messi to understand that he believed and told himself that respecting and imitating the stars is the beginning of success, and that he would say to himself that accepting the coach's feedback is the beginning of change, and he would say that failure confirms that I need to train more? Now, focus well on what was mentioned. Do you tell yourself what Messi tells himself? Are your thoughts Messi's thoughts? It's a fundamental idea because adopting the thoughts, beliefs, and sayings of a role model makes a quick difference. You might discover that you tell yourself that studying and working, not soccer, is the beginning of wealth. And you tell yourself that failing once means you will not become a global star like Messi, and that public criticism confirms your failure. The question now: will you become like Messi when your self-talk is completely different from his self-talk? After knowing the thoughts, beliefs, and sayings, focus on your role model's actions and behaviors. Do you focus on how Messi passes the ball, so you pass it in the same way? Do you focus on Messi's way of distributing his energy, so you distribute your energy in the same way? Have you read about him and known that he trained daily and that training is one of his routines? Do you train daily and make that one of your daily tasks? You have focused on 1. the thoughts and beliefs of your role model, and 2. their actions and behaviors. Now, pay close attention to the environment where your role model lives. Did Messi's family and friends, his environment, encourage him when he was a child? And have you received the same encouragement? Was Messi's environment and his room during his adolescence filled with pictures of Maradona, for example? And is your room now filled with pictures of Messi? Who was Messi's companion in his adolescence? Was his friend a soccer lover? And do you have a friend who loves soccer? Did Messi listen to the criticisms of his environment and surroundings? And how did he deal with them? Do you deal with criticisms the Messi way? Imitating a successful role model is the guaranteed and fast path to success. So ponder this well. Now, apply the above. Take a paper and pen and record 10 sayings you say about yourself, 10 thoughts and beliefs you think and believe about yourself, 10 actions and behaviors you perform, and 10 positions and opinions your family, school, friends, and society tell you. Then focus well. Are they the same as what Messi, for example, experienced? Review your environment well. Changing the environment, these sayings, thoughts, and beliefs is the fast track to success. We have noticed this a lot in life. Those who change their environment that does not encourage success and move to an environment that encourages success become successful. Ask yourself, have you decided to completely change your environment? Your sayings, thoughts, beliefs, actions, behaviors, society, etc. When you decide to change your environment, thoughts, beliefs, actions, behaviors, etc., you are announcing the beginning of programming. You treat yourself like an automatic program and try to feed it with new algorithms to work more efficiently. You are resetting your device and yourself, reformatting your entire environment through changing your language, your speech about yourself, as your speech reflects your thoughts. Hence the idea, language heals, emerged, as it all starts with a word. When you change your speech to encouraging words, everything changes. That's why they said, watch your words, for they become your thoughts. And watch your thoughts, for they become your behaviors. And watch your behaviors, for they become your habits. And watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it determines your destiny. It's a saying with significant meaning. What should you do now? Change your language. If you want to become a shining star like Messi, try to repeat to yourself daily the words Messi says to himself. Repeat to yourself daily and aloud that training is the most important thing. Repeat to yourself that it's possible to become a world-class player. Repeat aloud that failure is the beginning of success. The more you repeat, the more you will change. This is the approach of language therapy, as when you change your words about yourself, your thoughts, beliefs, actions will change. Everything changes, all because of linguistic words. Hence the idea of positive affirmations, like, I am successful, I am successful, I am successful. The question now, do you repeat to yourself Messi's sayings to himself? And will you commit to repeating them for your entire life so that they become beliefs? What we previously discussed confirms two more of the 10 assumptions we mentioned. The first assumption is that the mind and body are one system. So when you change your mind and thought, you will change your body and behavior. Meaning, when you repeat the phrase, training is important, your mind will change, and it will change your body, for they are one system. In short, the body will do what the mind says, namely the body will seek the training. The saying encourages action. This also confirms the assumption, the map is not the territory, which means the map, the perceptions, thoughts, and beliefs in your mind, is not the territory, not the reality. So when you say, I will not become a world-class player, that's your map and destination, drawn by your environment and surroundings. But it's not the reality. Reality says it's possible to be a world-class player. The question now, why can't we change our environment, thoughts, beliefs, or our personal map? Neurolinguistic programming summarizes the reason with the meta model, which states there are 3 metacognitive errors that affect you without you realizing, and you should beware of them during the process of changing your personality or healing yourself with linguistic repetitions. They are generalization, deletion, and distortion. So when you repeat to yourself, I will become a world-class player, and fail once, beware of generalization, as your mind might generalize that you are a failure from just one failure experience. Beware of deletion, as the mind might delete the word I, making it appear as, my friend will become a world-class player, not me, and it may distort the meaning of successful to mean only ordinarily successful. The meta model is a helpful framework during change, encouraging us to search for the thoughts and beliefs we generalize about ourselves unwittingly. It demands that we pay close attention to see the incorrect generalizations we've made and pronounced about ourselves, due to a single failed experience, not repeated experiences that warrant generalization. It asks us to focus on seeing the statements we make about ourselves caused by deletion. We might say we are failures because we delete all the achievements we've made in our lives. It demands that we focus to see distortion, where there are encouraging messages we've heard in our lives, but then distorted their meanings, seeing them as mere flattery from friends rather than deserved praises. Review your statements about yourself. Do they contain deletion of your achievements, generalization of your failures, and distortion of encouraging messages from around you? Despite the above, the meta-model asserts that these three processes can be destructive to change, but can also aid it. You can repeat to yourself phrases that generalize your successes and delete ordinary failures after learning from them, and distort critical words after benefiting from them. This can be done through another helpful model, the reframing model, which states that everything has a frame, and every frame carries a meaning, so changing the frame changes the meaning. For example, when you fail, don't view failure within the frame that you are a failure and of no use. Change this frame and see failure as a corrective and developmental experience that will help you to be better. In short, change the reading of everything. Reframing means reinterpreting the events you experience and the words and messages you hear. When you hear criticism from the audience, reinterpret it as attempts to motivate you. When you remember past failures and limit your capabilities and energy, change your interpretation of them as beneficial experiences for your entire life and extract useful lessons from them. Reframing reinforces 2 of the previously mentioned 10 assumptions. The first, there is no failure, only feedback, meaning the correct interpretation of failure is that it is, as successful people view it, a corrective experience, not a permanent impediment. The second, behind every action is a positive intention. So everything you hear in terms of criticisms and corrections has a positive intention behind it. Not all criticism is meant to destroy you. One of the best examples illustrating the reframing model is Edison's statement when he failed 1,000 times, saying, "I have found 1,000 ways that do not work with the light bulb." He viewed failure differently. The reframing model affirms 2 more of the 10 assumptions. Communication is inevitable, and effective communication lies in the response. Neurolinguistic programming assumes that a person communicates with others in every situation, so one cannot escape hearing people's opinions and comments. However, effective communication lies in the strength of the response, meaning it lies in how you respond to criticism. Ask yourself, how do you respond to criticism? How do you interpret and reframe it? Do you change the frame and read criticism in a different positive way? So far, we have explained 8 of the 10 assumptions. 2 important assumptions remain. The first, every experience has a structure, and failure does not happen by accident. It has a complex structure. In short, these assumptions state that successful people do not see failure as chance, as every experience, whether successful or failed, has a structure, components, and causes. Successful people examine the reasons for their failures and successes as a complex structure. Failure is composed of several contributing factors. Read failure as reasons and factors, then reassess your calculations and steps, change your methods and attempts in the second trial, and so on. Repeat until you succeed. Success requires being flexible. Yes, this is the importance of flexibility, the third principle in the success process of the Neurolinguistic programming system. Ask yourself, are you flexible with failure? We have now explained everything in Neurolinguistic programming, discussed its 3 principles: willpower, focus, and flexibility, its 10 assumptions, as well as 3 of its models: the modeling model, the meta model, and the reframing model. Two models remain: Milton's model and the timeline model. Milton's model is attributed to Milton Erickson, one of the theorists of neurolinguistic programming. Milton's model says that the suggestive language we repeat to ourselves affects us, changing our minds and subsequently our behaviors. Every person has two minds, a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. What does this mean? Milton's model is based on the idea that within a person, the conscious mind drives their life by 5%, and the subconscious mind drives it by 95%. To simplify this idea, consider this example. When you were a child, you might have drunk a cup of coffee that scalded your tongue. Here, you become conscious of the coffee's heat. Your conscious mind then sends you a conscious message saying, "The coffee is hot." When you drink coffee again and scald and burn your tongue a second time, your conscious mind sends another message saying, "The coffee is hot." And so it repeats with each scald. Over time, you become convinced by the message, and the messages move from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind, which then begins to lead your life. Your subconscious mind now allows you to drink without scalding your tongue, and do so unconsciously. This also applies to driving a car. Initially, you are conscious of your feet pressing the gas and brake pedals. Then you drive the car unconsciously, without feeling your pedal presses during driving. Your subconscious mind now drives your car without you being aware, so you arrive home without knowing how you got there. You arrive without feeling the pedals you pressed. What does this mean? It means that when you send conscious messages to your mind saying, "It's possible that I can succeed," "I am capable," repeating them from your tongue to your conscious mind, your conscious mind will ultimately forward it to your subconscious mind to operate on it. Your subconscious mind will begin to lead your life without your intervention, pushing you to initiate and try things unconsciously. The idea of conscious and subconscious minds explains why you withdraw from some initiatives. Your subconscious mind pulls you away from initiatives because it has heard repeated negative messages saying, "I am a failure, I can't, it's impossible." From here, we understand the importance of the language you use as a cure, instead of keeping it as a disease. So try to choose phrases to repeat to yourself and support them with evidence. Evidence convinces the mind. Repeat, for example, aloud to yourself, "I am a successful person, and I have 3 real pieces of evidence for that, which are such and such. I am a sociable person, and I have 3 real pieces of evidence for that, which are such and such." Language here plays a therapeutic role in programming and formatting your mind, brain, and nerves, as repeating positive phrases convinces your subconscious mind to adopt new principles and beliefs. Since Milton was interested in hypnosis, he integrated the importance of using imagery into his model, believing that the images you imagine about your capabilities help speed up convincing your subconscious mind of the new positive messages. As neurolinguistic programming is neurological, Milton advises that you hypnotically induce yourself and imagine encouraging images through your brain, your nerves. This can be done through relaxation, like sitting in a quiet place, closing your eyes, and breathing slowly for 5 minutes, then commanding your foot muscles to relax, followed by your knees, then your thighs, then your stomach, then your chest and head and eyes, then your hands. Gradually, you command your organs to relax until you feel utterly calm. This is the beginning of hypnotic induction. During the relaxation process, try to tense your foot muscles for 20 seconds and then relax them for 10 seconds. Repeat the tension and stretching until relaxation. And try that with every organ in your body until you are relaxed. When you reach complete relaxation, neurolinguistic programming or hypnotic language theorists believe you have reached the depths of your inner self, your subconscious mind, and can send whatever messages you want. Your subconscious mind is now ready to receive commands. Try then to send messages and imagine yourself in the future as a successful person. This is the timeline model, which suggests you jump to the future and imagine your image having achieved all your dreams, and also jump to the past and remember your successes to reinforce them, and return to the past to distort your failures and reimagine them. One of the ways to modify negative failures is to hypnotically induce yourself, and then watch the negative situation as if it were a movie. Then turn it into black and white. Then add cartoon characters. Then listen to the event sounds as if they were childish voices. Then enlarge the bodies of those involved in it, thus distorting the negatives and lessening their impact on you. This is the idea of the timeline model. With this, we conclude the Neurolinguistic Programming course. We've learned a lot, and the best thing we've learned is that the principles of neurolinguistic programming are 3: willpower, focus, and flexibility, as well as its 10 assumptions and 5 models. 1. The modeling model. 2. The meta model. 3. The reframing model. 4. Milton's model. And 5. The timeline model. This course, Neurolinguistic Programming, is taken from the book Educational Programs by Muteb Alqarni.